Can you hear me? I think I'm live. Somebody tell me if I'm live all right. Hold on. I got to get my other goggles. These are the old timer goggles. Look at them. Oh, yeah. Can you hear me okay? Somebody talk to me. Tell me something. Have you guys been watching all of the rest of the craft festival? I thought I'd give you a little something. Hey, Sean, everybody, how are you? I'm a little, it's a crazy cold and rainy day here in the Midwest. And so I got a little screwed up earlier in the day, but we're here and I think we're going to have some fun. So hey, Emmett, so check it out. I'm cleaning out my storage unit and I found this panel that I've made. I made this silicone mold about, I don't know, 21 years ago, I think it was. And it's 31 inches by 18. I don't know what that is for you guys in the UK and around the world, but I'm sure you can figure it out. So this is kind of a fun deal because I have right here some molding and casting material, cold cast plastic from Smooth On. I use them almost exclusively, but this stuff has a shelf life. So I have about, I don't know, 2/3 of this or so, and I thought, you know, what the heck, let's make a panel. So we're gonna have a go at it. So what I've done here, and I'm solo today, so I'm gonna just be moving you around a little bit. I'll try not to make you seasick. So what I've done with this mold is put it on a plywood panel that I have screws in each corner, and what we need to do 100% is have this thing dead level. So what I do with these screws is this makes for easy adjustability in and out. So I can tell that these corners need to be adjusted a little bit, and I'm just lowering this like this. So you get it? So if I tighten it, it raises it, and if I loosen it, it lowers it. Nice and easy. So just go side to side. Haha, yeah. That's an old school trick. Hope you like it. So this guy's got to come down a little here. What do you think of that trick, huh? Better to be ugly and smart. Well, I'm not saying I'm smart, but you know, what the heck. Okay, that's going to get us pretty darn close. So, first thing that we want to do to this guy is, this is an older mold. So I got to be careful of it. It's not silicone. I think it's a urethane mold. This was kind of the hip thing back in the day, but you know, things change and evolve, right? But what we want to do now is give it some mold release, so that makes it easier on this mold to release from the casting material, especially when we're using cold cast plastic. I'm keeping an eye on the chat, so if you have any questions, toss it in there. If I miss it, toss it in again, huh? You don't need to soak this down with this. Oh, where'd my, oh. You don't need to soak this down. You just need a little bit of a haze on there. Kind of like Jamie Page, just kind of a little bit of a haze all the time. I will let that sit up a little bit. Hey, Andy Pugh, how are you, man? All right, so this is, just by judging from this, I'm going to say that this is pretty darn close to what we need for this guy. This is a pretty decent sized panel. It's 7/8 of an inch thick. Andy Pugh, would 3 screws make it easier to adjust rather than 4? It probably would if you were way smarter than I am, Andy, such as yourself. I'm going to take that under advisement. I like it. All righty. So we got handy dandy, I think this is for stirring paint, but it works great for this. So this is part of the original piece that this is what we're going to try to replicate, actually, only in a full form. So this is a broken original piece from about 130 years ago, something like that. So we're going to have a go. Sean, what will you use to catch any extra plastic? Great. That's a great one. That's a great one. So what I did is, this is a little floral piece that I'll show you. Actually, I'll show you. This is parts of this, see? So I have this for leftover, and then beyond that, we're just going to have to toss it. But I've got a couple other things I can throw it in. But that's a great question. I always have something ready to go in case there's extra. Always, always. It's Sean being all smart and stuff. So this is pretty easy stuff to deal with. It's 1-to-1 by volume. It's a little bit off by weight. But I know that these are going to be equal parts. It sounds like you're putting it down the drain or something. So we have about 2 or 3 minutes to mix this once it starts going off, and then we have about 20 minutes till we can demold it. Alrighty? I saw something go by. Hopefully I didn't miss something. Oh, chicken noodle soup. God, it sounds delicious. Here we go. All right. The soup goes in. Now I'm thinking about chicken noodle soup. This looks like I made an awful lot, but like I say, this stuff was going out of date. I bought this in the summer, and it was going to go toasted anyway. So, all right, let me just bring you up a little bit here. Hi, everybody. All right, we're going to give this a quick mix. Want to mix it, make sure to mix it well enough, obviously, but we don't have all the time in the world either, so we got to kind of be careful here. And I stole this bucket from my wife. She doesn't know that I took it yet. I'll probably get in trouble for that. All right, we're going to give this a whirl. Okay, any questions? Ooh, I can already feel it. So this is a thermal reaction, so I can already feel it being warm. Just let that flow. Pour into the bottom, the deepest parts of the mold. Are you holding your breath yet? Because I am. That's just how I roll. You know, breath holding style. All right. You guys laughing at me yet? Because I feel like somebody's laughing at me. It's probably Andy Pugh. Okay. I'm not as perfect as I normally would be if I was doing this, pro style. So I've got a little bit of leakage here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the lab coat's hanging up right here. I was going to throw it on and then I forgot it. You know what I'm going to do? What I shouldn't do is adjust this after it's... Okay. Okay, now I got to get this stuff in here quick. I can feel the heat coming off of this. Can you see that? See how it's thicker than it was? I'm going to lose the rest of this, so I got to get rid of it. Check that out. It's already curing. Okay, watch for the flash now. Isn't that cool? 20 years I've been doing this, and I love this part still the same. Check this out. This one got away from me. It's like, I don't know, some kind of caramel or something. I gotta put that somewhere where it doesn't catch on fire. All right, now let's see what kind of a mess we've got over here. Okay, it looks pretty good. Look at that, it's already solid, like, it's almost like a Jell-O mold already, but boy, it's hot. Woohoo! Okay, we'll let that go off for a while. And my plan is to let this guy kind of harden up a little bit, just a little, and then we'll put him over by the heater, and then we'll go through a few things on gold leafing too. So, and again, let me know if you have any questions or anything. All right, here we go. So here's this guy. This part here will sand off. Pretty cool, huh? See, I'll show you how fast this happens. I would never do this with a real casting, but this, well, I'm going to be careful because it's still a little flexible. Is that nuts or what? I love it. So yeah, this guy is still hot, and as it is right now, it's still flexible a little bit. So as soon as it cools, it'll get hard, and I could throw this across the shop and it won't break. It's amazing stuff. So what this product is Smooth Cast 320 by Smooth On, and that is what I use almost all the time. There's different formulations of this plastic, mainly on how fast it sets up, because a lot of times when I'm making stuff for a church, I'm making hundreds, if not thousands, of small parts, so I want to turn it really, really quickly. So this guy, depending on the temperature, will, the 20 means that it's ready to go in 20 minutes. So there's that. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's like steam coming off of this guy. Okay, so I'm going to move this guy over by the heater, and then we're going to play around with a little bit of gold leaf work that people were requesting, and then we will go back. Air bubbles, like epoxy resin. Typically there is not. I usually with a panel this size, I would use a little slower formulation of this product, which means that I would mix it a little more carefully by hand, which wouldn't put so much in. But this is the back of the panel, so any air bubbles that are coming up would be on the back, and hopefully we'll have a pretty good casting on the bottom side, which will be the front of the panel, if that made any sense in the world whatsoever. So let me get rid of this guy and then we'll come back to it. That material is not cheap by any means, but it is an amazing material that, especially when I can just turn them and burn them really quickly and make, you know, hundreds of castings out of a mold. So I put out on Instagram if anybody had any ideas for what they'd like to see me do, and I can give you a little bit. All right, Jamie, let's go. Come on. I'll give you a little bit of a introduction to gold leaf work. I am by no means a expert, but I'll show you. Basically, all I really want to do is take the intimidation factor out of it. If you think that leaf work is something that's, you know, unattainable or beyond giving it a whirl, you're absolutely wrong. It's dead cheap to get into, and you can just have a go at it and practice and mess around. So again, if you have any questions at all, shoot them out and I'll try my best to answer them. I just wanted to show you this now. Maybe I can get this bucket back to my wife and not get in trouble. Nope. Oh, I think that one's toast. All right, let's get you in here a little closer. So I just want to tell you how do we go about this typically. So we would this would be an original panel that sometimes we'd find in churches. A lot of times this stuff was torn out, believe it or not, here in the U.S. in the 70s when they tried to kind of modernize the Catholic liturgy. So they literally, I've been in churches, worked in churches that they backed up, back in the day, they backed up a dumpster and started throwing pieces like this in the dumpster. But this would be typical of the situation that we would get, obtain. And then what we really do, because these molding materials are so accurate, down to, I've gotten sloppy a time or two and found my own fingerprint in a mold, and that comes through in the resultant castings. So you got to be super careful. So so this guy here, we would prime it out and then sand for sometimes 30-40 hours on a panel like we just cast. But basically what I'll do is, this cove here would be real typical of something that we would pick out in Gothic woodworking. We'd pick this out in gold. So I think we'll do this here. You can see somebody did it really badly here. They tried to, you know, paint gold in here, and there's a little bit of red in here, if you can see that. It's a bit messy. So the whole thing is the leaf really pops the highlights. Yeah, the sanding for 30 or 40 hours is literally, that is that is hell, but you got to do it because it makes all the difference in the world. So basically, what we'll do is just, I use, because all of my work is interior, I tend to use a lot of water-based sizing, which is just the adhesive. I know the dudes that really know what they're doing, they swear by oil-based stuff. The difference is this stuff dries in 20 minutes, and the oil-based can take like 2 days before you're ready, or a day before you're ready to put the gold leaf on it. So, can I zoom this in? Does anybody know? Whoa, whoa. Yeah, here we go. All right, how's that look? Okay. We're gonna try this. If it gets too much like seasickness, let me know, and I'll zoom back out. Try to get this guy in. How about right about there? Woohoo! Okay. This is going to look like a whole lot of nothing because this stuff is almost clear. It has a little blue. Can't tell. I haven't been into this for a couple of months. But basically, we're just going to, you just got to realize that this, you have to be as careful with this in painting, because the gold leaf will stick only to this adhesive and nothing else. So this has to be done super carefully. But it's pretty amazing that you get a feel for the contour of the piece. I'm trying to lose some of these bubbles I put in here by shaking it up, which was stupid. But you get a feel for how to cut a straight line. So because this comes up almost 90 degrees, this guy becomes pretty easy to just work your way around right on top of that cove, like that. Okay. Like I say, I'm trying to lose these little bubbles, because even that amount of texture will show up in the gold leaf, because the gold leaf is so thin. Now I've got two kinds of leaf here that I'll show you. One is 23 karat gold, and one is an imitation gold leaf that's really super easy to practice with. Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna raise you up. Hold on, don't get seasick. Whoa, come on. Okay, let's try this. All right. I'm just gonna quit right about here on this one. So this is really, I don't know if not rectilinear, but it's non-organic, you know, it's straight lines. And I'll show you another way that we'll deal with some gold leaf more as a highlight. So we're going to leave this alone now for about 20 minutes and let this guy get it to where it's not tacky to the touch. So I'm going to throw this over to the heater real quick. Okay, I'm going to zoom you back out. Ooh. Come on. Hey, how's it going? I've always wanted to gold leaf my teeth. How did that work? Yeah, Amy, that was glue for the gold leaf. It's sizing. You can look it up on Amazon. Gold leaf adhesive sizing. Easy peasy. Fiona is inside the house. She is. It's rainy and cold, and she's sleeping. So this is a piece that goes inside of a running molding around a cornice of a church, and so what I did is I cast this. I think this is a couple of years ago. It was a leftover casting, just like this one that we just did, which is still warm, by the way. It's still giving off heat. Wow. But this guy was just a sample piece. So I just, before we got on air, I just squirted three different colors of green on this. And what we'll do now is, this is more of an organic shape. And this guy was meant to be viewed from probably, 30 feet, 10 meters away. So we're going to give it just a little pop of gold now. So what we'll do is, going on the, I'm going to get you in here a little closer. Is this useful? You guys, is this worthwhile information for you? I hope. Okay, so what we're going to do is take our brush and just kind of go along with the contours of the leaf. So we're just trying to pick up little highlights. And what this will do from a distance is pick out the detail. And these aren't even full lines. These are just, can you see that? See how those are just little highlights on the tops of the detail. So this is a little more, I don't know that people do this a lot on stuff that's held up closely, but this works super well for stuff that's seen at a distance. And just kind of, where the center of the leaf is, there's a stem or whatever it is in there. We're just trying to pick that stuff out. And not being too crazy, because again, viewing distance is everything. In my world, that's probably one of the most significant things that has to be kept in mind is, is something going to be, looked at from 5 inches away or 50 meters. And I'm just kind of not being too crazy here. We'll try to keep it fairly even. Not like right here where it was super white. That's too deep compared to everything else. All right. We're going to go with that, I think. All right. Any questions? This all looks pretty decent. Now this will dry like clear, so after a little bit here, I won't even be able to tell what we did. But I'm going to quit messing with it. All right, cool. So now we have 2 different approaches to gold leaf, and then we'll see how that stuff goes. All right, so I think, let me throw this in some water. I think we're about ready to demold the panel. unless you guys don't want to do that. Here we go. Still with me? All right, I'm gonna go set this by the heater. How long do you have to let the glue tack up before it dries up? This is usually okay overnight, Amy. I didn't catch the second question before it disappeared though. But yeah, this'll be good to gold leaf in about 20 minutes or so, and then you can usually go. You know, it'll be sticky and still usable in 12 hours or so. So you have plenty of time. So, and again, the real true gilders don't even use this material, but there's plenty of information on YouTube about somebody that really knows what they're doing. All right, this feels pretty solid. Okay, cool. I think I'm gonna back you up a little. Oh, there we go. Back you up so you can see the whole thing. All right. Thanks, Gerald. Cheers. I can't believe Gerald's leaving before we unmold the panel. That's not right. Come on, man. This is just called flashing, this little rubbish that comes around. That can all come away. This is still fairly warm. Again, we're rushing this quite a bit for demonstration, but I'd probably let this cool down another half an hour or so if this was a real panel that we were having a go at. But these little flashings are just little overages that just go away. All right. Ready? There we go. How about that? Woohoo! Is that crazy or what? So this panel, basically, the way we would use this now is I would typically run this through a surface sander upside down, which would get this whole thing dead flat, and all this stuff would come off. So then if you can imagine, we have a panel like this, then we would glue this guy to the panel and then caulk it in, and it would look like one big carved piece. It's really slick. And it came out, for a 20-year-old mold, it came out super nice. It's fairly slick. You want to fly in for let's fly in for a close-up. Extreme close-up. Can you feel the heat still coming off of it? See that kind of detail that's in there? That's great stuff. What's Sean saying now? If I was working in a historical chapel with material restrictions, that would be determined a lot of times if you're at this level of detail. To the cost of what you just saw took half an hour to form this. If I was to cut and carve this piece, it would probably be, for me, be, I don't know, 6, 8 hours. So the big difference is I always give them the option, but the costs go through the roof, exponentially. So, it gets to the point where, do you want the look and feel of it, or do you want this pure, purity of it? I've never had anybody go, yeah, we'll pay, 6 times the amount of money so that you can carve those by hand. As a matter of fact, I think I get a lot of my work because we can get this kind of detail. You probably heard me say it on podcast interviews and things. We cheat every way possible to make this stuff affordable. And a lot of times these are relatively, my market is relatively small churches that got a gift from somebody's grandma that passed away or something, and they're trying to bring their space back to the way it was originally. So this is how we cheat and do that. Give them this affordability. I just think it's magical. Half an hour that took. And you get a production line set up and you can pump these out just like magic. Because what I would do probably if I was doing 100 of these is I would pull one of these and then I'd go through it and re-sand everything one more time and then take another mold of that one. So then I'd have 2 molds, and then and then depending on how much of a time crunch you're in, but you could you could have sometimes probably 5 or 6 molds and just let them go. So yeah, there's that. That's this is some of the funnest stuff that I do. I thoroughly enjoy making these molds and caring for them, and 21 years later coming up with a perfect replication. To me, that's just fun as all get out. All right, so let me see if some gold leaf sizing. Does anybody have any questions on materials or process on the molding and casting? Come on, talk to me. Tell me something. Does the smooth-on smell in use? Not really. Maybe a little bit of a chemically smell, but not like not like lacquer thinner or something like that. You can turn it. It's pretty forgiving as far as turning goes. Well, let me put it this way. It machines well. You can route it. So I would assume with good sharp turning chisels, you can do it. I'm not a turner, so I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that it would turn fine. Peter, this original came from a church built in 1908, and the original altar was torn out and bits and pieces of it were saved, and this panel was one of the ones that was saved, and we were able to capture it in this form, and then use this in different parts of the church that we redesigned the altars. We designed the altars so that these could be used in place of panels. So the discovery part of this is super important. That like if we go into a church that's been totally cleansed of all its good Gothic furnishings, first thing we do is put out a call to all the parishioners and ask them if they saved anything when it was torn out. So you know, does anybody have anything in their attic that they thought was just pretty and they didn't want it to see it in a dumpster? And a lot of times these things will come back, and then we design to those pieces. So, all right, I'm gonna get rid of this. I see Jamie is devolving the chat, so it looks like I better move on. I do want to say that when costs are a concern, we also have done a lot of casting in a material called statuary hydrocal. Statuary hydrocal is basically, it's basically plaster of Paris on steroids. So when you hit it, you know, like flick your finger at it, it almost sounds like porcelain. It's so hard. It's what they came up with to make statues. That's why it's called statuary hydrocal. But we can do that for far cheaper than we can this big a panel. This two-part plastic is, you know, it's a bit expensive for this much mass. No, the smooth-on two-part is super durable and is not brittle once it cures out. So this piece here, I would have no problem at all. It's good. It's crazy because it's stiff, but yet it's not brittle. It's pretty cool. Let me see if I got a piece. That's what it sounds like anyway. Very cool stuff. Now the statuary hydrocal is much more fragile, but though we use that in places where abrasion isn't an issue. Andy, this piece, I don't know. It's not super heavy. And they also make, no, it's about, yeah, it'd be lighter than a piece of wood, depending on what it is. Maybe like basswood, you know, carving wood that's pretty light, be about like that. They also make materials very similar to this that are half the weight of this, which I've done pieces that are inverted on the ceiling that were super light. I mean, you could take a 40-inch rondelle and hold it up yourself. It's crazy light, expensive, but very light. Okay, cool. So look, this stuff here is shiny now, but it's not sticky. So that means it's ready for leaf. So I'm gonna bring you back in here and down, and we'll do a little bit of a okay, so what I've got here is two different kinds of leaf. Now that I live in a church, you ought to volunteer to come decorate it all Gothic. Oh well, but okay, no. Okay, so this is imitation gold leaf, and it's crazy thin, you can tell. But it's what I'm trying to do is demonstrate to you the difference between this, as light as that is. This is 23 karat gold leaf, and I'm not going to be too crazy with these because this is a couple of bucks of sheet, but I just wanted to show you the difference in thickness. This is called patent gold leaf because it's stuck to this piece of paper. But if I can get a little bit of this off of here. Now typically guys will rub this on their head. Obviously, I can't do that because I have no hair. So I don't know if I'll be able to get this off of here or not. This gold is so thin, the pure gold is so thin that you can't hardly use it. So this guy here, this patent, we're just going to put it on, and I'll show you the one next to it. Now, because it won't stick to anything but the sizing, you can go right over the top of it and it'll just go away when so anything that it doesn't touch the sizing just flies away, disappears, and then you 6 months later, when you're sweeping your shop, you find it. So this is the this stuff where I couldn't handle this at all. I can't even tell you the difference, but you can see can you see the difference in the real gold is a lot more yellow and rich looking. Nice, huh? And now there's no stick on the gold itself. It's just so thin that it sticks to the sizing. And again, any place you miss, just pounce it right back in there. And if it doesn't find some glue to stick to, it'll just fly away. Now, of course, when you're using real gold, you want to be a lot more careful because a book of 25 of these here is $50. So you got to be a little careful. And again, this is by no means how you're supposed to do this, but I just wanted to give you a real quick idea. The flatter you can get it on there, the truer the color and the shine is. And then you can come back in and buff this out and really get it to pop. Huh? Just like that. Crazy, right? So if you're using, you know, Melanie, I just get mine on Amazon for the most part. There is a supplier I use out in LA Gold Products, I think it is, or something like that. But for the most part, you know, doggone 2-day shipping is pretty addictive. The real gold leaf, the 23 karat, as long as abrasion is not an issue, you do not have to do anything except burnish that and you know, get it shiny. So the copper, this imitation gold leaf is just colored copper, and over time this will lose its shine and it'll oxidize unless it has a sealer on top of it. So they make a sealer, and a lot of times y'all just use a gloss, clear coat of some sort. So, but yeah, the gold leaf, Sean, is 100% good to go on its own. It's freaking gold, for criminy sakes. But that would be very typical of a detail that we would see. You know, maybe an off-white base like that. Let me see if I can put a little different. I'm getting a lot of, that's probably truer there. So you can see the difference in the color. See even the reflection of my finger going past it. It really just grabs light and bounces it. And just, there's no way that I've ever seen that you can get this kind of reaction from a paint or flakes or anything like that. This stuff just goes nuts and says, look at me, I'm pretty fancy. I'm super fancy. All right, let's go see if that green thing's ready. Tight areas are tough. And again, it depends on the viewing distance, Melanie. But you can just work smaller pieces. A lot of times I'll take this. This is the patent gold. And what did I say? That's a Scottish accent. This guy here, I will cut into super small pieces and then like fold it and push it into tight corners and things like that, if that makes any sense. All right, let's go try the green one. So you can see the only way we can tell where this is now is just that it's a little bit more shiny where the glue is. So we're going to give that a whirl. Okay, so I'm going to tilt you back down, and we've only got 9 minutes or so here, so we will give it a go. I think I'm going to use some imitation on this so I can get a little bit messy with it. So what we'll do, this is the beauty part about the imitation, is that you can really just burn it up because it's just a fraction of what the real gold leaf is. So now this looks a little messy up close, but then I'm gonna let you take a peek at it from a distance here. And you don't have to get super picky about this because it's meant to be sort of a rustic type of look. So this is just I think it's actually a makeup brush that I stole from my sister-in-law back in the day. She doesn't miss it, I bet. So you can see why there's always gold leaf flying around the, the room. So you turners and things, man, I would highly encourage you to start looking for crevices and stuff in your turnings, you know, your natural problems in the wood, and stuff some gold leaf in there and then finish it. And I think it would be awesome. You know, the Japanese do that as an art form. I forget what it's called, but highlighting the flaws, I think it just basically translates to. So, okay, let's tilt you up a little bit and see if you can get an idea of where I'm coming from here. So I don't know if that picks up the light or not. But from a distance, that really comes in nice. Oh yeah. All righty, cool. So my question is, do you have any questions for me? So it's sort of like circular questioning. Isn't that cool? All righty, talk to me. Tell me. I've got like 5 minutes. Carl and JP will kick my butt if I go short. So I have not done a gold leaf Seymour. I totally should, though. Oh, I want to show you one more thing I did with gold leaf that I think you'll dig, you resin guys. Like Jay. So here's what I was talking about, kids. Check this out. So this is 24 karat gold in a piece of cherry. So the kintsugi, thanks Jason, that's exactly what I was talking about. That's the one. So this one here is just a natural flaw in the wood. So what I did is I put a little bit of resin, epoxy down in the bottom of this hole, and then laid in the gold leaf, and then laid in epoxy on top of that. So I'm trying to see if I can, is it focused? But you can see it looks like it's about 3 inches deep. Isn't that fun? You can add gold leaf to anything. It's crazy. And it's not limited to gold. There's, like a chrome, there's blue, black, red. Bobby Duke did a carving with, what was it? Oh, it was a scarab that he did green and red leaf work on it that was really outstanding. Check that out. Pretty cool stuff. So, but yeah, kintsugi. Thank you for that. That was cool. So yeah, man, I'm tripping on this, and I would highly encourage you to try molding and casting. You can do it for fairly cheap. There's all sorts of hacks using silicone caulk, thinned out to make a mold, and then just start with plaster of Paris. You can buy it dead cheap at the hardware store, and just mess around with it. I have also taken plaster castings and used low viscosity epoxy to make them stronger, and that's pretty cool trick too. So you can get the shape with the plaster, and then you basically impregnate the plaster with epoxy. So good fun stuff. I'd also encourage you, don't be afraid of gold leaf, man. It's good fun, and it makes you look like you really know what you're doing. Use me as an example. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just gave it a whirl a few times. Literally, back in the late 90s, that's exactly the way that we learned. We just went and bought a bunch of material when we got a big job and taught ourselves how to do this stuff. So pretty fun. So, well, I hope that was cool. Thanks, everybody. I sure appreciate the everybody tossing in. And hey, hope it was fun. Any other questions whatsoever? I just super appreciate the fact that 85 of you people are silly enough to hang out with me for an hour. You guys need to get yourselves, a real life. That's just not right. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed leaf. See, the detail of the day is leafing leaves. You see what I'm saying? So you put gold leaf on the leaves. Did you catch that? You probably didn't catch it. Did you? Okay, Chris got it. Okay, Aziz got it. See? All right, cool. All right. Any other questions? No? 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 You're all right. See, Australia's listening today. David, thanks for jumping in. Nice work. I appreciate it. All right, you guys, enjoy life. It's not that serious. All right, you guys be cool. Don't forget to jump on over to the next one. I just lost who it was. Jamie, if you're still here, it's I lost it. All right, everybody be cool. Love you guys. Cheers. How do I turn it off?